Potentially the biggest and one of the most exciting ever IPOs could be happening quite soon. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I'm the only YouTuber with the hoodie to prove that fact, and today we're going to be speaking about an incredibly exciting company, Palantir. Now, these could be one of the new tech giants. Traditionally, this is a company who has wanted to stay as secretive as possible, and it becomes very clear why. When you start looking into this company, you start doing deep dives into articles, and you see that they literally help the NSA spy on the entire world. This company builds the world's leading software for data-driven decisions and operations. Basically, if you're an organization who has a whole lot of data, like the FBI for example, they obviously have an incredible amount of data. Too much data to even possibly put together, you can't even connect the dots. That's where Palantir comes in, and essentially they'll take all of this data and connect the dots for you. And I have some incredibly, and I mean incredibly interesting instances of this to go through later on in the video. This company literally helps stop terrorist attacks in their tracks through their methods. So it's easy to understand why in the past they've wanted to stay extremely secretive. And this isn't a new company. They were founded back in 2003. And this particular filing was a confidential filing. So what that means essentially is we don't actually know when they'll be going public. We don't know how many shares will be issued, and we don't know what the price of the shares will be either. But what we do know is they're more than likely worth around $26-ish billion at the moment, which could make these the single biggest IPO in history. This is genuinely one of the most exciting companies I've ever started looking into. What I will say in advance is there is lots and lots of information to take in this video, so pay attention. And right before we get into all of that information, could I please ask you to smash a like on this video? I would appreciate it so much. Your like really helps me and the channel out so much. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. The support, guys, is absolutely insane right now. I appreciate every single one of you. And drop me a comment down below after you've watched this video till the end. Let me know what you think of the company. Let me know if you've looked into them, if they interest you, if there's anything that you think I missed out that should be known. Just let us know in the comment section down below, guys. I always love the interaction. But anyway, guys, there is quite a bit to cover. It's an extremely interesting company. Let's get straight into it. So as we like to do on this channel, we are going to start it off with the basics. So we're just on Palantir's website, and this is the very first thing we're greeted with to get a very basic understanding of the company. Palantir builds the world's leading software for data-driven decisions and operations. So like I said in the intro, what they do is they try and take all of this data from companies and make sense of it. And it can be quite difficult to understand what I'm trying to explain without an example, so I'm going to give you a very clear example. Now, Quora isn't generally the place you go to get information on a company, I'll be honest with you. But I just found this so interesting. An organization like the CIA or FBI can have thousands of different databases. Financial records, DNA samples, sound samples, video clips, maps, floor plans, you get the picture. A lot of different sources of data, and it could be very hard, for a company to put it all together, to make sense of it all, to see how it all interconnects. Palantir makes it really easy to mine these big data sets. It combs through all available databases, identifying related pieces of information, and puts everything together in one place. I mean, guys, just to make it really simple, remember when you were at school or college and you would have notebooks, okay, and you had loads of notes. You probably had 10 A4 hardbacks worth of notes, and it could take you so long to find the piece of information that you were looking for, or to find multiple pieces of information that you need in one place. Just imagine that Palantir could go through all of that and put it into one little tiny piece of writing for you. Now, here is a really interesting example of how this works in the real world. In October, a foreign national named Mike purchased a one-way plane ticket from Cairo to Miami, where he rented a condo. Over the previous few weeks, he'd made a number of large withdrawals from a Russian bank account and placed repeated calls to a few people in Syria. More recently, he rented a truck, drove to Orlando, and visited Walt Disney World by himself. As numerous security videos indicate, he did not frolic at the happiest place on earth. He spent his day taking pictures of crowded places and gate areas. So a lot of information, and how is it interconnected? Because none of his individual actions would raise suspicions. Lots of people rent trucks or have relations in Syria, and no doubt there are harmless eccentrics out there fascinated by amusement park infrastructure. But when taking all of these together, they suggest that Fikri was up to something, and yet until about 4 years ago, his pre-attack prep work would have gone unnoticed. A CIA analyst might have flagged the plane ticket purchase, an FBI agent might have seen the bank transfers, but there was nothing to connect the two, and that is where Palantir comes in. The day he arrived in Orlando, he got a speeding ticket, which triggers an alert in the CIA's Palantir system. An analyst types his name into the search box, and up pops a wealth of information pulled from every database at the government's disposal. There's fingerprint and DNA evidence for Fikri gathered by a CIA operative in Cairo, video of him going to an ATM in Miami, shots of his rent truck's license plate at a toll booth, phone records, and a map pinpointing his movements across the globe. All of this information. So as the analyst starts poking around his file, a story emerges. A mouse click shows that Fikri has wired money to the people he had been calling in Syria. Another click brings up CIA field reports of the Syrians and reveals that they have been under investigation for suspicious behaviour and meeting together every day over the past 2 weeks. The Syrians bought plane tickets to Miami one day after receiving the money from Fikri. To aid even the dullest analyst, the software brings up a map that has a pulsing red light tracing the flow of money from Cairo to Syria to Fikri's Miami condo. That provides local cops with the last piece of information they need to move in on their prey before he strikes. So, to find all of those individual pieces of information would never work. You would have to dig. You would have to dig for so long. That's where Palantir comes in, and it connects all of the dots. Another thing, Palantir Big Data possibly helped catch Bin Laden. On Palantir's website you can find this: Palantir, the tech spooks who found Bin Laden are helping BP find oil. But this is the company who connected the dots in regards to Bin Laden. This is the company who helped track him down, people. This is the kind of thing that Palantir is capable of. There's lots of big data gatherers out there, your Microsofts, your Googles, your Amazons even. But they don't work with government agencies like the FBI, the CIA, to catch literal terrorists, the worst terrorists the world had ever seen. The data that these guys are in control of is powerful stuff. But anyway, I just threw us kind of in the deep end there, gave some real world examples of how the company actually works, because now looking through the website, everything makes a bit more sense. So when they say they build the world's leading software for data-driven decisions and operations, that's what they mean. But there's a lot more to it than that as well. It's not just big government agencies they work with, and we'll get into that very soon. So their software power real-time decisions, okay? Institutions have the data they need to make the best decisions for safety, stability, and prosperity. But too often their data is fragmented and locked in silos. The people on the front lines of our most important problems don't have the information they need when they need it most. At Palantir, we build software that lets organizations integrate their data, their decisions, and their operations into one platform. Our software empowers entire organizations to answer complex questions quickly by bringing the right data to the people who need it. You can have all of the data in the world, but if you don't know what you're supposed to do with it, if it's not in the right places, if it's not all interconnected, what's the point? It's not going to do anything for you. So it's not just big government agencies. We can look at Airbus. You are all more than likely aware of who Airbus are. As of 2020, they're the world's largest airliner manufacturer and took the most airliner orders. So Skywise connects the aviation value chain in a secure ecosystem that's transforming how the industry uses data. These are planes that carry people across the world. They need to be as safe as humanly possible. So Airbus has tapped Palantir's expertise to speed up the production of A350. And a service like Palantir could potentially save the European Aerospace Group hundreds of millions of dollars over the coming years. This is an extremely powerful company, and the more I started to look into them, it almost becomes a little bit eerie just how much data these guys have. I mean, if we go back to this article speaking about Fikri, they knew absolutely everything about this man. They knew where he was sending money. They knew exactly where he was driving. They knew everything. This is a powerful company, and they work with powerful government agencies. That's something really important. And obviously privacy is something extremely important for a company like this, and that is potentially why they haven't gone public for so long, and they haven't really been, in the public eye all too much. Palantir was founded on the conviction that it's essential to preserve fundamental principles of privacy and civil liberties while using data. Now this is extremely important. These guys hold so much sensitive information in regards to pretty much everyone. From our roots in counter-terrorism to our current work spanning the public, private and non-profit sectors, we've delivered software that incorporates principles of privacy by design. Now that's pretty much one of the most important things with a company like this. You can't have all of that sensitive data and just go publishing it everywhere. That would be horrific. Now straight from Palantir's website, okay, how they work. Palantir Gotham. Integrate, manage, secure and analyze all of your enterprise data, okay? How does it work? So, you start with data from multiple sources. We've already kind of established this. That's why I started with this article over here, because it shows, they take data from loads of different places and put it all together. So they fuse that data into a human-centric model. They integrate and transform the data, regardless of type or volume, into a single coherent data asset, making it so much easier to understand, making it so much easier to connect the dots. I keep saying connect the dots because that's a really simple way to think about it. This, for example, every one of these dots could be a piece of information that the FBI has that could be used to stop a terrorist attack. Palantir comes in, they connect the dots, and you know exactly what you have and exactly what needs to be done. So then once it's all fused together, you tag, secure and track all the data. obviously, and then you bring the data to life for human-driven analysis. So this is where the actual analyst, say in this situation, comes into it. The CIA analyst looked into all of this information once the dots were connected and were able to stop a terrorist in his tracks. It's just powerful, guys. So now we have a decent understanding of what the company actually does. So what can we really expect from the IPO? How do people feel about it in general? And what's just some more useful information to have under our belts? Well, the nature of this company, the information that they have, it being so sensitive, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the company in general. So we already said that they reportedly helped locate Osama bin Laden while zeroing in on terrorists in Afghanistan and Iraq. The company has acknowledged that its technology is used, to kill people. Further, it's used by Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency to help locate illegal immigrants. And critics say its use by ICE divides families and violates civil rights. A lot of people are worried that it's infringing on their privacy. And I do completely and utterly understand that, but at the same time, it has some absolutely incredible uses. And obviously, as we've said, government and law enforcement agencies as well as the military are customers, massive government customers. That's one thing that I really think helps these guys stand out from other data companies, is the relationships they have with these massive government companies. I mean, you don't get those relationships overnight. They're also helping the Department of Health and Human Services understand how the Roni is spreading. It also has a number of corporate clients, including Airbus, as we've said, Merck and oil giant BP. The company was co-founded by billionaire Peter Thiel, a co-founder of PayPal, who initially got rich with an early investment in Facebook. He is also one of the most vocal supporters in Silicon Valley of President Donald Trump. Another founder is Alex Karp, the company's chief executive. And this IPO is coming at a time when a growing number of tech giants such as Facebook, Amazon and Alphabet face a backlash from employees and outside forces when their technology is used for questionable objectives. This is including the use of facial recognition technology. This is quite clear to see when we look at the antitrust issues that are going on right now in regards to all of these tech giants. Apple is another one that's included in there. I don't know why they didn't mention them. The thing about Palantir is they have all of these government connections and relationships. So here they say it appears the company's value will come in around $20 billion. Now I've seen other articles that say $26 billion, some as high as $30+ billion. More than likely around the $25 billion mark, I would expect. The company had $739 million in sales during 2019, a gain of 25% year over year. And again, this is a company that was founded in 2003. It's not a new company, so that kind of growth is fantastic. They expect revenues will hit $1 billion in 2020, with the vast majority of its contracts being longer term with almost no churn. Those contracts have made the business a cash cow. At the end of 2019, the company had $1 billion in cash on the balance sheet. That's a lot of cash, especially for a company who is expected to IPO around the $25 billion range. That is a lot of cash to have on your balance sheet. The company has raised more than $3 billion in venture capital funding from a variety of investors, including BlackRock, Tiger Global, and Morgan Stanley. So a lot of big investment firms see something in this company. And as of right now, the top 10 largest global IPOs of all time, Alibaba is currently top of the list at a whopping $21.8 billion. I don't think it would be surprising to anybody if Palantir comes in above that mark. So I mean, the fact that this could be the biggest IPO offering ever, I mean, that says something. It's just the clients that this company have, the growth they've seen and the cash they have on their balance sheet, the power they have in this world and their history. It's very, very exciting. Now I know a lot of people might have some moral conflicts here, thinking that they are just too strong. Now, they're dedicated to working for the common good and doing what's right, in addition to being deeply passionate about building great software and a successful company. They want to do what's right. As of right now, we don't know when they're going public. Some of the articles I read through estimated as early as August. Some said it won't happen until next year. It's all real just speculation at this point. But what I do know is I think this is extremely exciting. They are, no doubt about it, powerful, and I mean extremely powerful. More powerful than their competitors, with better contacts than their competitors. They have history. They have a history of great clients. They have a history of growth. They have a history of performing. They have a history of stopping literal terrorist attacks. I am going to 100% completely and utterly be keeping up to date with this company. But there we are, guys. That is Palantir. Pretty crazy stuff. So guys, there we have it. A new, very exciting, very powerful, very big company that could be going public anytime in the next few months to early next year. If you have watched until the end of the video, I really appreciate you. As I always say on the channel, you are a true legend. And I would really appreciate your feedback. Just let me know what you think of the company down below. And again, if you've actually been researching this company and you think there is some other useful information to let me and everybody else in the comment section know, please do drop it down below. We would all be very appreciative. I, for one, will 100% be keeping up to date with this company until they go public. I think it could be offering us an extremely, and I mean extremely exciting opportunity. It is not often that a company this big goes public at such a high valuation. But anyway guys, I really do hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you were able to get some sort of value out of it. That is always the goal with these videos. And I also hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. I will have another video coming out later on today. You know, we double upload on the weekends, baby. You guys keep showing the support. I am going to keep the double uploads up. So thank you all so much. If you haven't liked the video yet, please smash that like button now. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for the next video. Peace.